Olowoniyan. I got it right. Olowoniyan.
Yes.
She joins us on the show this morning. Good morning, and thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning.
On the program.
It's good to be here.
Why are you now celebrating fathers?
Why shouldn't we celebrate fathers? Why should we only focus on mothers? Fathers are as important in the family cycle as the mother is.
The reason why I think he would have asked that question is because, well, we know about something that happened in your life when you were quite young. Your dad was not in the picture, but thankfully your grandfather was.
My grandparents, yes.
Yeah, your grandparents were. Now, today we see you champion the cause of fathers through this show now. So I want you to just talk to us more about that. Why fathers? Because many women, they always say, oh, I want to celebrate mothers or mental health or breast cancer. But for you, it's fathers.
Well, I wouldn't say that I don't celebrate mothers or I don't celebrate anything else. My channel, Tope Olowoniyan TV, is centered around inspiring, provocative, positive content. And our journey so far has been around season-based shows. But I am very passionate about the father's path because I had a very solid relationship with my granddad, and it was just like a very brief time that we had before he passed that we were able to be solid. And it taught me that a lot of men are misunderstood. A lot of men don't also express themselves well, and that can be from many causes. It could be from how you were raised, the responsibilities that life has given you, societal expectations, the pressure of being a man, the pressure of providing, being present, solving every problem. You know, there's so much that comes with the responsibility of being a man. And a lot of women are giving a lot of attention. Still maybe not enough attention, because I can tell you that our biological clock makes you go crazy. But I saw the need to do the father's path, and also in a way to help men learn, unlearn, and relearn, to also feel seen. Because in my journey of life so far, I've spoken to quite a number of men, and also in the bid of trying to help myself grow out of a lot of insecurities I faced growing up, knowing that my own biological father wasn't present in my life. I saw the need to understand why people make the choices that they make. Why a man can have a child and just be like, you know what, I'm not going to be present in this child's life. And you know, I would tell you that that's okay, because it's his choice to make, it's his life to live.
So you are doing this because you have an experience.
I have an experience, yes.
So, and the experience was, that's funny, gory, good, bad? Tell us about that.
It was life. It was life. It took me through many phases. Okay. I can't tell you that the experience was beautiful. It was life, or it is life. I transitioned through many spaces mentally to where I am now. But the father's path is to help men to understand where they are, learn from people that have experiences, because I feel like we don't talk enough about the realities or the challenges that happen in marriage or in parenting, and giving real references to how, okay, I faced this challenge, this is how I dealt with it, and this is how I came out of it. Many people just talk about how, oh, something was toxic or something was unbearable and I backed out. But there are a lot of people that go through challenges, they go through it and they come out of it. So I was focusing on making a show that can make a man turn on his TV, watch, and feel seen, feel like, okay, this might not be exactly what happened to me, but I can take nuggets from this and apply to my life.
So I watched the trailer of the show.
Thank you. You should watch the episodes too.
Yeah, definitely I will get to that. But I saw that you had men of different age groups.
Yes,
some are older, some are younger. How do you think that this is going to resonate with some of your audience? What do you think? What is the biggest thing you think that audiences would learn from?
I feel like everyone will feel seen. So an older man watching would not be like, this for the younger generation. No, you would see the Yemi Sholade, you would see Uncle Bimbo Manuel, you would see Rabiu Ricardo, and I try to take actors from Nollywood and Kannywood. That's like, so you have the Yoruba actors, you have Daniel Etim Efeong, who's Akwa Ibom, you have Rabiu, you have Alinu, who is from the north. So you understand parenting and you understand fatherhood from the different geographical locations and what our environment informs, or what our environment makes us become. So you wouldn't feel like, oh, this is just for people that are from this particular. No, it can apply to anyone. The experiences that they shared, how they bonded with their kids, how they scold their kids, how they raise their kids, how they're present in as much as they have tight schedules and unavailability, they still find a way to be present. If the first episode has we're 5 days in and we're over 20,000 views, and my channel is just...
Okay, just a moment. Let's take some sight and sound of that particular one. Then we'll come back and talk more on it.
Do not live in self-delusion. No two marriages are the same.
For men, you don't have to show vulnerability. There's a kind of vulnerability that you should never show to your family, to your wife. You cannot.
My children, when they were crawling, when they crawl to a certain object, before they touch it, they turn to look at me. My reaction will tell whether they will touch that thing or not.
You must have a profession. You must have something you do with your hands and your cranium to call yours.
My father is actually the strict type. What I inherited from him is to be brutally frank. I will tell you the way it is. If you like, go and hang yourself. Don't tell you.
Let nothing discourage you. Once you have seen the future and you know exactly where you're headed, before you give up on yourself, you will have to think of why you started. I started just because to get there.
We must first acknowledge that the psychological makeup of men is totally different from that of women.
Lagos, are you ready?
They are not. They are certainly
They're not.
What about fathers who just have babies and they don't take responsibilities?
Well, that's absolutely on them. I can't speak for them.
But we have such men out there now.
Yes.
And when we celebrate Father's Day, you had from that intro script saying that fathers are not being celebrated the way we do for mothers.
Yes.
Why is that so?
Well, let's be honest. There are a lot of mothers that are more present in the life of their kids than fathers and are a lot emotionally more available than fathers. I think that we're just coming to the time and era where fathers are beginning to be more emotionally available and be more present. They're present in terms of financially providing and making sure that the home is running. But think about it, how many experiences, how many memories do you even have with your father growing up that was not...
Well, for me, I have a lot.
That was not from a scolding point of view.
No.
Okay, so that's solid. You see, that's good because we know that men like this exist, but what's the ratio of them out of every 10? And how many of them are impacting other men to see the need to be present, which is one of the things that the Father's Path highlights, the need for you to be present, not just only provide, not only go out and make money. You need to have those solid memories with your kids that as they grow, those are the fundamental experiences that guide their growing up.
Now I know they said that you wanted you did the show so that fathers can feel heard. But what about we ladies who will watch the show? What do you hope that we take away from the episodes?
Perspective. There's a lot that women have to learn in terms of perspective. Even I, whilst having the conversation with my guests, there were a lot of times that my mind kept changing and I would probe and be like, oh, why don't you take your vulnerability to the woman? Why take it to your men? And they made it clear to me that there's some things that, it's not like you don't want to be open to a woman, it's just that there's some things that would just be best communicated when it's to your fellow man. Just the same way what you would tell your girlfriend is different from what you would tell your friend that's a guy. There's a level of comfort, you see. So I feel like it would give you perspective, it would give you clarity. It would also give you a way to walk around them and to also understand that their psychological framework is totally different from that of a woman. The fact that you have your monthly cycle that affects you mentally, they don't have that. So you can imagine the difference in us already. So for women watching, it would give you perspective. It would help you to walk around or to converse or just be better around men. And I mean for communication.
So whatever encouragement is Father's Path saying to those men that are responsible, who pay the bills?
I like when you emphasize the bills.
Yeah, because when you talk about the bills, the bills are enormous.
Yes, they are.
You can attest to that.
I can attest to that.
So what is your message to those fathers?
Well done.
Who are carrying those burden of challenges?
Are seen. For every man out there who does the work, you are seen, you are recognized, you are respected, you are not short of your masculinity. And even for times that you feel the need to break down, breaking down is fine. It's human. It's your way of connecting to yourself. It's not about shielding or masking your emotions. Sometimes your wife or your children also need to see the vulnerability and see that, you know what, after I cry, I will clean my tears, I will pick myself back up, and I will go back in. And it's okay for you to take your walls down so that you can connect, because there's some memories that I have with my granddad that made me connect to his humanity and makes me understand that, yeah, as much as you're macho, you're man, you're powerful, you're making it work, guess what? You're still a human being.
Absolutely. So there are days you need to just break down and ensure that allow things to just go normal.
Like you're overwhelmed, be overwhelmed. Take it in. Guess what? The person out there with the perfect pictures on the internet has their overwhelmed moments. They just don't share it. So if we're all sharing picture perfect moments, that's fine. But let's remember to be human, to take our time to bask in the realities of the good, the bad, and the ugly. But always remember to pick yourself right back up after that.
Absolutely.
For the people who don't have fathers, who don't have any father figure in their lives, what do you hope that they take away from this?
Healing. I do hope that you can find your healing. It cannot be overemphasized on the presence of a father in one's life. I know that for a fact. And there's a vacuum that creates that is biological. There's no matter how your mother wants to really be there, there's just the presence of a man. And for you watching that doesn't have your father or didn't have a father figure in your life, you may have to find your strength. You may have to understand that this is the card that life has dealt you. Doesn't mean that you are less worthy. Doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It just means that life is taking you on a different path. And I like to believe that the pains and the challenges of that journey prepares you for something else. Will I know what it is? Most likely not. But that strength can carry.
We'll talk more about the pains and the role of mothers and the children in ensuring that the father has the strength to carry on. We'll pay some bills. And when we come back, we'll still talk more on father's part. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Every great hero begins their day with a mission. And our heroes, they're on the hunt. Superhero. Join the Hunt and Win promo on Indomitable packs. Visit www.indomie.ng/IHWP for more details. Terms and conditions apply.
Actor Tope Olowoniyan is still very much here. Tell us more about that role of the mother and the children in ensuring that they take off those challenges, make it easy for the father.
Maybe not make it easy, but just make it bearable. As a woman, you have to tap into your emotional strength and your emotional capacity, which I'm not a man, so I don't know how much men have in that regard. But you see, there has to be a safe haven or a safety net that you create for your man, in the sense that you understand that he is shouldering responsibilities of life as a whole. And being his wife, there are responsibilities, but you see that emotional buffer that he might confide in people outside doesn't mean that he cannot confide in you. But you have to build your emotional capacity to a level where he can see the safety of pouring into you. Because he can also think that if I carry all this and pour, if I show her all my insecurities or my weaknesses or my challenges or all the things I'm facing, she may feel like, oh, I don't have the capacity to lead this family. But if as a woman you build yourself up to the point where you know that, okay, I can give my man the mental safety or the emotional space where he knows that, let me just go home and tell my wife. That is a level of safety that he knows he can always fall back on. And as a woman, it's not for you to be, why is he emotional? Why is he crying? No, it's to see that there is power here to be able to get him to the place where he feels safe enough to be vulnerable and not toughen it up as you expect the typical African man to be, but pour his heart out, and you have that quiet moment of reverence of the realities of life, and then you pick him up and you know what, let's have a drink, or let's have our you know how you have those your safety foods for when you want to indulge. Let's do that, and right after that, maybe not even talk about it over the weekend, and on Monday you say, you know what, let's circle back to what happened and let's come up with strategies on how we can pick ourselves back up. Because the truth is, challenges will always come. Nobody is coming to save you. Probably the only person saving you will be your partner. So yeah, women could do that.
So what can we watch?
You didn't talk about the children.
The children, now you know that there's going to be a level of it can't be as you would expect, because children are not at the level of adults are. If you see if you can, I personally also feel that you can carry your children on a journey that helps them grow. Okay. So not also relate to children as children and expect it to baby, ba, 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 boo, 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 but start to communicate with them, start to teach them the things that you want them to imbibe. Because I started learning pretty early. I remember my aunties growing up always tell me, oh, don't behave like a child. Not because they didn't want me to behave like a child, but they also wanted me to learn about life pretty early, pretty quick, and understand things. Now, if I have, for instance, I do this thing where I go to the cemetery to see my grandparents. I just go to their graveside and I just have moments. And I'm like, I would teach my children that, to understand the transient nature of life, not because they need to be afraid of the cemetery, but to understand that for everything that has a beginning, has an end. To involve your children, or to be able to have an emotional space with your children, you have to teach them the things that make them understand that life has different pockets or different compartments. If you don't pour into them, there's no way they can pour back into you.
So where can we watch this episode? I mean, I'm already very excited, and I'm going to send it to my dad. Yeah, and I will be sharing it with my dad and every father I know.
See, I promise you, it will be a great bonding start. It will be a great place to start a conversation with your dad, because you see him to start, and you start to see like a lot of our dads are alike, because I had 6 dads who talked about the same thing in different ways. I remember always asking them, how did your father apologize when he hurt you? And they say he never did. But he would buy you ice cream, he would take you
And for
shopping.
those of us that our father is no more, so what do you tell us?
I tell you to think back to memories that you've shared, and find solace in those memories. And with that, know that life is very short, and the children that you have now, make sure you treasure every moment with them. Work is work, but family is always first.
And it's not
yes,
good.
please.
Yeah.
Tope Olowoniyan TV on YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel. I pride myself in saying that my YouTube channel is your one-stop place for everything positive, motivation, and inspiring.
So you're going to pay for adverts.
I am an ex-TVC star. TVC was part of my fundamental years.
And are you happy to see
I am so
what you're saying at the moment?
I'm just like, why weren't we here when I was still here? It is so beautiful to see, and that's just life, growth. Where we were when I was still at TVC, that's 2019 to 2021, was so different from where we are now, and I'm so proud.
We have to go now. Very interesting time with